welcome to the second episode of Tiger Talks. We are so excited to be back with you guys, back to four of us, and just keep talking about some really cool things that are happening in the sports world. We're going to hear from a very special guest later, Miss Juliana Coates. So stay tuned for that. We're super excited to hear what she has to say and just learn from all of her experiences because she's involved in so many things. And we're just so excited to have her on the show. So just a reminder, my name is Courtney, and
my name is Markus.
My name is Tahj.
My name is Nicole.
Yes, and we are your hosts of Tiger Talks. So we're just going to hop right into it. One of the main ideas that I've noticed we've been talking about in class is metapersonal connection, which is the idea that sports fans are increasingly interested in electronically mediated personal engagement rather than interpersonal and face-to-face engagement. And I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on that, of like if you agree with it or if you kind of disagree with it, how you think that'll affect the future of sports, because I think that that's a huge statement to make. So yeah, just speak your truth.
Yeah, I agree that they're increasingly more interested in electronically mediated engagement just because look at how prevalent like social media is today and all the different platforms. I feel like so many fans are like trying to DM, like their favorite players, or there's just so much of like Instagram and like maybe people doing like Instagram lives or things on TikTok, where I feel like, very rarely do fans actually get to meet, their favorite players like in person. So with all these social media platforms, I like do agree that there's such an increase with like the importance of, trying to make that connection, I guess, like through like online
Do you think
stuff.
that increase of online engagement kind of in turn increases their like long for an interpersonal connection?
I feel like yes, almost in some ways. Like,
Yeah.
in some ways, I feel like that's also like already maybe a connection to like fans in that way. Like they're able to connect like online, but I feel like maybe the more that they feel connected online, the more they might even want to like actually meet them in person.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think that also ties into what we talked about last episode, the parasocial relationships, for sure, which we already talked about that. So if you want to hear about that, go back to the first episode. But yeah, it's such an interesting like ideology of the relationships that people can create before even meeting an athlete or influencer that they are interested in and like want to be like. I thought that the video we watched in class with all of the professional athletes and the fans going up to them, and like the fans are just like sobbing, and like it's the most pivotal moment of their life when they get to meet this athlete that they've been looking up to. And I just think that's such a testament to how important sports are in this day and age and how massive of like a scene it is now,
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Like I remember when I was younger, I went to one of the like Gold Cup games. It was like Mexico was playing the U.S. in Atlanta, because I was like obsessed with soccer, and I would watch all these players on TV and like through social media, all these things. And like when I finally got to see them, like not up close, but like playing in person on like the jumbotron and everything, it was so cool. So
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, like.
But yeah, I want to hear Tahj, Markus, who are the athletes that y'all have parasocial relationships with?
Oh yeah.
Who do you look up to?
So for me, for the longest time in my childhood, it was actually Kevin Durant. Just from like his swagger, how he carried himself, I always just wanted to,
Come
I
on,
was just
swagger.
heavily influenced by that. I was just heavily influenced by it. So I always wanted to just kind of just roll like that, and like I think it plays a big part into like a lot of these kids, like how their upcoming is, and I think it's great because if you're looking at somebody who's first of all doing great things athletically, doing great things in life, like giving back to organizations, or even just like going out to speak to community service or anything like that, I think that's a great example and a great role model to even have.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, it was definitely Kevin Durant, and I feel like even nowadays, like it still is. It kind of branched off into like certain artists and stuff like that. But when we're talking athletics, like Kevin Durant.
For sure.
For me, I would say Usain Bolt, even though he's not a 400 athlete, but he's always up there. He wasn't like the most known athlete at first, but he always put in the work and always motivate himself and say that he can do it. And I used to watch some motivation videos, and like he would always say like, never stop giving up after I got beaten at that first big
Yeah.
stage, and he always put in the work day in day out. I know he was the fastest man in the world after
Yeah.
retirement. So yeah, I would say
Wow.
Usain Bolt is my inspiration.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's a good one. He like is the king of everything. I feel like everyone knows his name.
What?
He's the king.
He's the king, yeah, for sure.
That's so great. Okay, my next question, I kind of want to transition into like the idea of sports entertainment versus more looking at like the pure athletic competition. One of the best examples I feel like is the Savannah Bananas, and the way that they've taken baseball and like turned that into something more than baseball, while still keeping that pure athletic competition aspect and like giving people baseball, but it's just that level up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Do y'all like that? Do you think that's like a good world to walk into, or are you like, nah, keep it to like the basics, like we want to watch the game?
Nah, I mean, like, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's fun to watch.
It is.
Like, when we were watching the Clemson one, and
Yep.
we were dancing and flipping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a serious game, but the entertainment is just 10 out of 10, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I like it for sure.
Yeah. Would you say it's comparable to like going to a normal Clemson baseball game? Or are you like,
Well,
if I want athletics, I'm going to a normal baseball game. If I want to be entertained, I'm going to the Bananas game.
But I mean, everything is entertainment. Like,
True.
if it's a serious game, things are gonna happen on the pitch for you to say like, wow, like he
Yeah.
did good in that. But
Right.
I mean, overall, it's entertainment. Entertainment
no, I
is just
agree.
entertainment.
100%.
And-
I mean, that's the whole
yeah.
point of sports is to be entertained. And like, if you're an athlete still entertaining, you get to do it and like get that adrenaline rush. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. So Tahj, you went to the Savannah Bananas Clemson game?
Yeah, I went to it and it was lit.
Did you have fun?
Huh?
You had fun?
Yeah, I had fun. Honestly, I didn't know that it was. I didn't know anything about Savannah Banana, but I was
Right.
like at the training room and doing my recovery, and then when I got out, I see them dancing and stuff, and so I stopped.
You're like,
You
what
were like,
the?
fuck this.
I was like, "What's this?" And like a lady was here. You don't know about the Savannah Bananas, and I was like, "What's
You're
that?"
like, no.
You were like, no.
And I said, "All right, I'm gonna stay tuned and see what happens." And I
Aw.
actually enjoyed the whole thing. Like,
Wait,
enjoyed
that's
the
so
whole-
fun.
Like captured
I love
your
it.
attention. Yeah.
I
I
love
feel
it.
like some people
Yeah.
like, hate on it almost, but I feel like it brings so much like happiness and like joy to people. I'm like,
Yes.
they're having fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a whole new like
I think it's great.
thing. Me too. Yeah.
I think it's like I feel like people are like all the new ways that like with the pro games that we were talking about in class, like with like the NFL and the NBA, like they're all trying to figure out new ways to like entertain people and like keep people roped in, and like the Bananas did just that, and they're doing it so
Exactly.
well. You
Like,
know?
it was so cool seeing the amount of people that came to watch, like all the videos, like coming from like all over the
Yes.
place, and all the kids and like the huge fans that like came to Clemson and watched. Like that
Yeah.
game was like awesome.
Right.
Like, they have such a
And
big
then-
fan base. You know.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And then the Bananas are coming back to Clemson in April.
Yeah.
And they're playing
April.
in the football stadium.
That's gonna be so cool.
Yeah,
That
it's gonna be
sounds great.
crazy. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's gonna be really cool.
Experience, because like I can't wait for something like that. I mean, I hear about it, and of course I see it on social media. Every day.
Wait, Marcus.
Honestly, can't
Marcus, wait.
Marcus, you're kinda
I'm
quiet.
not hearing you. Like, yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, better.
I
A
know.
That's
little,
better.
yeah.
Okay, I was just saying like it's gonna be way better for me in person because like I see it on social media and everywhere. So I was just very excited, for them to come into the spring game for football.
Yeah. That's so cool. So Marcus, you got tickets?
Oh yeah, just I got no. time.
It's like he's like, yeah.
You're like, yeah. I
No,
got
he's gonna
tickets.
go in through the locker room and watch like on the field.
Yeah, like special accents.
Yeah. That's so great. Oh,
Gosh.
I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be so cool. I love it.
Yeah, same.
Okay. My next point that I wanted to hit, as athletes, because I know that you all have had experience in the NCAA and in like on competition days or like game days or whatever, have y'all ever experienced like results of crisis comm like within the marketing or media? Like, you know what I'm trying to ask? Like,
Yeah.
if something's going on behind the scenes, like, do y'all get affected by that?
It can play a part. I feel as though like things that happen behind the scenes aren't always what is shown. So like
Yeah.
I feel as though like that's just like it just gives off like a script vibe, and that's just like not possible with athletics. Like you
Yeah.
never know what's yet to come, honestly.
Right.
And that's what whether you're dealing with fans or supporters, like I mean all throughout the whole logistics.
Yeah. No, that's a good point because you never know what's going to happen, especially like with injuries. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, you can't control that. You can't predict that. You can't like control how long it's going to take or how short it's going to take or whatever. And that's hard to deal with for sure.
So scary.
What
Yeah,
about
so scary.
Tahj and Nicole with track? Have y'all had any experiences with that?
Honestly, for me personally, not that I can think of like anything huge with like crisis comp. But what about you, Tahj?
Nah.
Nothing. Tahj is just locked in on game days. I mean, on competition days.
And I feel like,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, like people do, like at some of our like home meets, I feel like people have gotten like injured this year, like falling off the track, like all this other stuff. But it's not like they're
Yeah.
doing, like reporting it like live. Like there's like videos on YouTube sometimes later, stuff like that. Or I
Oh,
think
no.
some of them meets you could have streamed it, but it's not like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
any like like announcers in the moment, like oh like this is happening or whatnot. So it's like a little bit different. But
Yeah.
yeah, some people did fall, and there was
That's a
some
good
stuff
point.
that happens like.
Oh
during
no,
the
that's
meets,
so
and it's like,
scary.
shoot,
That's so
but-
scary.
Mostly in the relays, like something ever happened. Like, no, I remember this, like the women 4x4, like when one of the girls fell when she was running out and she chipped up her shoulder, but she wasn't injured, so it wasn't nothing like a crisis. But yeah, those things does happen.
Yeah. I mean, they're bound to. It's not like everyone's going to have a perfect run every time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's scary though, man. Falling on a track, and those girls are pumping.
I
That's
know,
that's a
seriously.
heavy fall. Shoot, Tahj, have you ever fallen?
Nah, and I don't plan to.
Never, never.
don't
Knock
plan
on
to.
wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Well, great. Good job, Tahj. You're killing it. King. All right, y'all. That wraps our little class discussion. Hashtag yay. That was it. I'm so excited for the ways that that's going to play into our guest conversation. In a few minutes, y'all get to see that. So keep hanging out, keep staying tuned in, and we'll see y'all in a second with our guest, Miss Juliana Coates.
Hey everyone, we are so excited to have Juliana Coates as our guest speaker today. She's a UPIC intern for the library's communication and marketing department, and she also works with marketing and fan experience for athletics, and she interns for both. Juliana, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here. So like Nicole said, I am a UPIC intern with the library's marketing and communication department. I help write articles for them, kind of help manage their social media, that kind of thing. And then I also intern with athletics in their marketing and fan experience department. I started both of these this semester, so I'm still kind of learning, still kind of getting used to those, but they've both been a lot of fun. But before this, I used to be the news editor of the Tiger, Clemson student newspaper, and I also used to work for Clemson Home and their marketing and communication division. And I forgot to mention, now I also work with Clemson FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and their comms team. So I manage the link tree. So yeah, all the things.
That's awesome.
That's so great. Yes, Juliana, you're the best. I'm interested as to what your favorite part about working with marketing and fan experience has been, because this is your first year doing it, right? You said.
Yes, yeah, it's my first semester.
So far, what's the vibe? What are your favorite things about it?
It's hard. Honestly, my favorite thing about it is probably just getting to be to the part of who's making the magic happen. Like, we're kind of like the Disney cast members of Clemson Athletics. That's how I've kind of been explaining it to people, because we're kind of like the smiling faces. We're the ones like engaging with the fans and engaging with the audience, and so we're doing all we can to make sure they have the best time possible at any Clemson sporting event. But then also we get the really cool perks too of getting sideline access to all the games, access to some cool facilities. Like on Monday we had our like team meeting, and then afterwards, since we were in the gymnastics practice facility, we got to go jump on the trampolines and like do cartwheels on their mats and like do all the things. It was so much fun. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess just like getting to be part of the group that's making the magic happen and making people want to come to Clemson sporting events and come back. So kind of helping build the fan base. Yeah.
For sure. And do you work with all sports? I know I've seen you at basketball games. What do you do, like everything?
Yes, yeah. So I've done men's and women's basketball. I've done gymnastics. I'm going to actually be doing softball this Saturday. I'm doing baseball the week after that. And then I'm going to be doing lacrosse, men's and women's tennis. In the fall, we're doing soccer, football, volleyball. So yeah, I'll be everywhere.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so cool. What a broad, like, variety of, like, experiences. Because everything is so different, I'm sure. Like, there's the core, of course, but, like, doing a soccer game or a basketball game and gymnastics is not going to be the same.
Yeah, for sure. Even like for basketball or gymnastics, there's so many little differences. It's like, oh, okay, I'm kind of learning something new each time, but it's cool at the same time. So
that's so cool. I love it. So great. Okay, so I know that you used to work with the Tiger as well. Mm-hmm. Is writing your passion, or are you kind of more drawn to like the behind the scenes aspect of sports?
I don't know, passion's a strong word. I mean, if you give me the choice between writing something or like making a social media post, I'm going to choose to write something every time. So I guess kind of in that way it's more passion, but like obviously in the world we live in today, like having a writing background is important, but also you need to have the more like digital and multimedia type skill set things. So yeah, like if I had the choice to just write all day long, I would, but like obviously I'm having to learn and expand and all those things. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's so great. I love that.
So Julia, I have a question. So
yeah, shoot.
What is the most valuable lesson that you have learned while working for the Tigers?
The most valuable lesson from the Tiger? Oh goodness. I guess there's stories all around you, but it's up to you to be looking for them, and it's up to you to follow up on them, and it's up to you to want to bring them to light, I guess. Because you think like, oh, yeah, Clemson's a big school, but we're also kind of in the middle of nowhere. We're in a small town. What's really actually going on here? But I guess you kind of open your eyes, like know who to talk to, know what places to look. Like there's stories all around you, and it's just a matter of you having the initiative to find them, want to report on them, and get them out there. Yeah.
Cool. And the Tiger covers more than just sports, right?
Yes.
I saw they just did an article on like the Senate election that's going, or the government election that's going on.
Yes, so they have a news desk which is covering like campus news, even City of Clemson news, because we're the only newspaper that covers like the City of Clemson as well. So we have access to all that. Like we did reporting on like the mayor elections, the city council elections, all stuff like that. But then we also have sports, and they do all their things. They cover all the sports, maybe even some club sports. Like there was one girl who would always cover the club hockey team because like there's no other like university hockey teams. So that's all we had to report on. Yeah, it was so cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love
so then
that.
we had news, sports, and then Time Out, which is more like arts and entertainment-y type stuff. And then we also had opinion. But then besides that, we had a whole photo team, we had a video team, we had a podcast. I was on the Tigers podcast a couple times just like talking about my articles.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a whole layout team that does like the print newspaper, like editing that and putting that together. So yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah, that's a big organization. Yeah. I didn't realize how many different like ways you could work in there. That's so cool.
Oh, and even if you wanted to sell ads, like for business ads, you could do that too. They had a whole like business office. Yeah,
that's so huge. Cool.
Yeah,
and they print like legit, tangible newspapers too.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that side of the organization kind of like moving downhill now that like I feel like all information is on social media?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like in that aspect, is it still a huge part of the organization?
Kind of, yeah, because well, we also had our own social media team. I forgot to say that. Like if you wanted to just work on the Tiger social media, you could do that too. Like they had literally everything. It was insane. Yeah. I mean, we still printed bi-weekly, and it's something like since we're the editor-in-chief would always say, like, we're the newspaper of record. So, like, we're telling Clemson students in 2090 what was important in 2025. So if they want to know that, they can look back at our digital archives, but they could also pick up a physical print newspaper and say, oh, hey, here's how they did layout. Here's how they, like, formatted their stories. So it's kind of like a historical archive record type thing. Yeah. Obviously, like, not every print issue gets picked up when we would do distro and, like, on the different stands and things. Right. And we do put all our stuff online. We do put all our stuff online as well. But, I don't know, the Tiger they were kind of fighting to keep the print issue just as kind of like a historical
it's iconic
thing. So
yeah.
Would
y'all look at past like prints from like the 80s and look at like their layouts? Was the Tiger a thing in the 80s?
Oh yeah, it's been a thing since like 1907. Yeah, it's like the oldest, the state's oldest like college newspaper. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, so they beat the Daily Gamecock by like 1 year. So go Tigers.
Yeah, let's go. Go Tigers. Come on now. That's great.
But yeah, we would kind of look at their layout. Honestly, like I would look at layouts from like more recent years, like 2022, 2023, because those were all saved on InDesign and those were all saved in Box. So I could kind of like get ideas from there. Because as a news editor, it was also my job to put together the news section on InDesign, like decide like how each story would be laid out in the news section. So there were like 3 pages of print that I controlled. So yeah,
that's intense.
Yeah, it was.
That's legit. That's a lot of good experience though. Like I feel like your brain is so broad now. I love it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Something like that.
Something like that. That's so cool.
So what does a day in a life look like for you with these internships?
Oh gosh, no day looks the same. Honestly, it's with the libraries on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I start my mornings in there. So that could be kind of just doing whatever my supervisor needs me to do. If it's getting content for social media, if it's writing articles, like I'm working on writing one right now about this like AI research assistant tool that's on the library's like website. So instead of having to go through the catalog and like type very specific keywords, you can just kind of ask it a question like you would ask ChatGPT, and it pulls sources from the library's databases for you. So it's all coming from like
you're coding that?
Legit. Yeah, it's coming from like legit credible sources and like it's
Juliana,
awesome.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wait, that's like another. You're not just like doing their social media. You're like creating their website.
Well, no, that wasn't me creating it. Like I'm just the one promoting it. No.
I thought you were like
no. I did not make the AI. Absolutely not. No.
That's crazy.
I'm just the one telling everybody about it.
Okay, just kidding. Anyways, does the library have an Instagram?
Yes, me and another UPIC intern, we manage it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll go follow.
What's the tag?
Clemson Libraries.
put it down below.
Go follow. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things.
That's so great. Yay. Okay, sorry, I cut you off with my in awe of the AI.
No, you're so fine. So yeah, that's kind of, my UPIC hours are more consistent because with athletics, it kind of depends on how many sporting events we get assigned to work each month. Like I think so far I've done 3 and I've got 2 more to go. But we can also have the option to come in for regular like office hours during the week. I'm started doing that a little bit. I haven't jumped fully into that world yet. The one time I went, we were just messing with the softball video board for 2 hours. So,
no.
Getting ready for the first game.
No. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I guess that's kind of day in the life, work, like internship wise, and then classes, all the things. So
right. Yeah. And I'm sure it also just depends on like what each place like needs from you in that time. Like I'm sure you're not doing FCA stuff every day or like
no, the FCA stuff's like kind of just on like will call. Like I'll get a text from the director and he's like, hey, can you add this to the link tree? And I'll be like, sure. Hey, can you archive this? Like done. Sometimes even at FCA, like he'll be like, hey, when they make this announcement, make this link go live. So I'll have my phone like on my knee, like and as soon as they say like go, like, I'll like make it live. So
that's so great.
Yeah,
queen.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Juliana, I feel as though like this is amazing hearing about like what you do and your schedule, as well as to what you're doing within your schedule, all the way down to the coding. But my question I wanted to ask was, what sparked your interest, to get yourself involved with these things and keep striving on, to do even better things?
Mm-hmm. Super good question. What sparked my interest for the library? Honestly, I had a professor last semester. It was Professor Haney in COMM3290, Courtney.
Yes.
And she said something about like UPIC internships being available, and she's like, "Oh, I've got a friend at the library that was looking for interns." I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I applied to a ton. And I had interviews for a ton, and the library one was the only one that said yes. And so I was like, well, I guess that's what I guess I got to go for it. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, I really loved it so far, and I'm planning to keep going with them in the fall. And then with athletics, honestly, it was kind of just an out of the blue decision. I had a friend already who had started last semester, and we were talking one day, and she was like, hey, would you just want to do this? And I was like, okay, why not? Because I've been a Clemson fan my whole life. I love all things Clemson athletics, so the chance to work with them in any form or fashion would be like a dream come true. So I applied. Honestly, I didn't even apply. I emailed the supervisor, and I got an interview like the last week of classes, and then I was hired during finals week last semester. It was the most like quick process ever. But
wait, that's so cool. So you weren't expecting it at all. You were just
that's why I couldn't really tell anybody because it was just happening so fast and like out of the blue. So
yeah.
That's awesome.
Wait, that's so cool though. I love. They wanted you. They were like, she's perfect. We need her. Oh. Okay, Juge, do you have any? One of the topics that we're covering in class right now is crisis comm.
Okay.
Do you have any stories, whether with the Tiger or within UPIC or with marketing, of like where you've needed to channel into your crisis comm experience and like use that in the real world?
Yeah. Okay. So I've got two off the top of my head. They're both kind of long-ish explanations though. So I had to work the Georgia Tech game a couple weeks ago. So the whole triple overtime loss, like the whole shebang. But before even all that happened, there was a Georgia Tech player, I think, like sometime kind of early on in the first half, he got hurt and he got a concussion.
Yeah,
so
I remember
there would take like forever for them to like figure out what was going on with him and like where he needed to go and all that, which was like, obviously it's a crisis because he's injured, but it was also kind of a crisis for us because we have things that we plan during like those scheduled media timeouts. So him being like taking so much time to like figure out what was wrong, that took away all of our time for the under 12 media timeout. So it took us until the under 8 timeout in the second half to finally get everything back on schedule. So it was a lot of like us listening on our headsets. Like, okay, we're going to move this to this here. We're going to move this to here. We're going to do this instead of this. So just a lot of like running around with our heads cut off without making it obvious they were running around with our heads cut off. Like, nobody else had to know that we were freaking out.
Don't let anyone know that it's chaos back here.
Yeah.
Make it look good.
Yes. Yes. We kind of had to keep doing what we've been doing, but then make adjustments as needed and like really listen to each other, communicate well. So that was more like verbal communication, I guess. But then, in terms of like more written communication, I feel like with the Tiger, almost everything was crisis comm because like it's not newsworthy. There's not a little controversy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
that's a good point. Actually, that's a good point.
Like this was like April when I had just first been elected news editor, and Kyle Rittenhouse was coming to Clemson, and he's like very pro Second Amendment, very controversial public figure, and we had already gotten wind of like a protest that was going to happen before and during his event, and all these things that were going to go down. So with that, we just had to really make sure that we covered all sides of the story, like that we got quotes from people who were protesting, but also people who attended, and that we were just representing it as unbiased and as objectively as possible. So we've had a lot of those happen, or even like, I don't know if y'all remember the naked guy from last semester. That was a crisis.
On the bus.
Yeah. So just making sure we got that out quick, got the facts out without, like libeling or slandering that guy. So,
Oh, no, I remember. It's just like, I totally just like.
So fun fact, I live at the Flats, and that happened on the Flats bus. So yay!
Oh no!
Oh no! Luckily, I wasn't on that bus, but the awful part of my bus was like kind of traumatized afterwards, low keys.
I'd be scared too.
No, I didn't ride the bus for like 2 weeks after. I was like, no, we're not dealing with all that.
You're like, what if he comes back? I don't want to be
Exactly.
Oh no! Oh my gosh. Well, that might be a good point for us to wrap up on.
There you go. End on a bang.
Yeah, no, literally. But seriously, Juliana, thank you so much for hopping on and talking to us about the incredible things that you're doing and all the experiences you have. We're so thankful to hear from you and learn from you. And to all of our listeners, thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with us again for the second time. We love you guys, and we'll see y'all next episode.
Hey, thank you.